Welcome to the Retaliation Realm channel. We hope you enjoy today's story. Hi there, I'm Cora, stepping into a rather unusual story at 18. I've got a lot on my plate, especially with my cousin who's practically like a twin brother to me. You see, he was adopted at birth due to his mom's struggles with addiction, which led to some serious learning challenges for him. Think math and reading skills of someone much younger. He's a regular at summer school, always needing extra help. The thing is, he's not exactly the friendliest guy towards me, and I can't blame him. But truth be told, once I'm out of here, I'm out. Tutoring him? That's a hard pass for me. Recently, my parents found a tutoring program specialized in learning impairments, but here's the kicker: my dad was laid off due to the global crisis. Now, only my older sister and I work, so money's tight. Despite this, my parents feel compelled to get my cousin the services he needs. Dad sat us down earlier this week. They explained that my cousin might be held back if he doesn't get tutoring. Since my sister and I are his older siblings and they're not working, they expect us to pitch in financially. We instantly opposed this. My sister argued they had no right to ask, and I said my cousin wasn't my responsibility. But they shut us down, insisting that we're family and families support each other. It hit me that since they have access to my current bank account, they could withdraw money without my knowledge, leaving me with no recourse. It sounds like you've been put in a difficult spot, Cora. It's important to protect your hard-earned money and future. Opening a new bank account and transferring your funds was a proactive step to safeguard what's yours. Your parents may be struggling with their own challenges, but that doesn't mean you're obligated to cover expenses that aren't your responsibility. It's understandable that you don't want to see your brother suffer, but it's also valid to prioritize your own financial security. If your parents truly want to help your brother, there are other ways they can support him without touching your money. Perhaps your dad could personally tutor him during this period of unemployment. It's unfair for them to expect you to foot the bill without considering your own autonomy and financial needs. Remember, being 18 means you have the right to manage your bank account and make decisions about your finances. You and your sister are both adults, earning your own money, and that should be respected. It's essential to have an open and honest conversation with your parents about your concerns and boundaries. Express your willingness to support your brother emotionally, but emphasize that financial decisions regarding your money should be respected and discussed with you first. It sounds like you're in a challenging situation, and I understand your concerns about your parents' expectations and how it's affecting you and your sister. Firstly, it's important to clarify that your parents adopting your cousin does not mean you and your sister are responsible for covering all expenses related to his education or care. Adoption is a choice made by parents, and they have a responsibility to provide for their adopted child's needs. Regarding your parents potentially renting out rooms for additional income, that's a decision they would need to make based on their circumstances. However, expecting you and your sister to financially support your brother's education and their lifestyle is unfair, especially given that you are both working to support yourselves. If you live in the United States, your brother may indeed be eligible for free supplementary assistance through the school system if he has a diagnosed learning impairment. This could include an individualized education program, IEP, or a 504p Cora to provide necessary support and accommodations. It's essential for your parents to explore these options rather than solely relying on you and your sister for financial support. You are right to take steps to protect your finances by opening a new bank account. It's crucial to ensure your direct deposits go into your new account to maintain control over your earnings. Considering the circumstances, it might be wise for you and your sister to pay Cora for independence and limit financial dependence on your parents. Moving out and establishing your own living arrangements could provide you both with the autonomy and financial security you deserve. Remember, you have the right to prioritize your own future and well-being. It's okay to set boundaries and seek support from outside resources if needed. Take care of yourself and your sister during this challenging time. I have a corgi named Lila, and she has always been completely healthy and satisfied with the dog food I buy for her. While I needed to leave on a week-long business trip to Dubai, my boyfriend took care of feeding her. Unfortunately, the vacation was extended by 3 days due to airport delays and cancellations caused by a severe storm. I typically buy a 50-pound bag of dog food that lasts nearly a month and costs me around $40, depending on the store. It's a vet-recommended brand, not a low-cost off-brand, and I can get it inexpensively through her groomers. Upon returning home, I noticed that Lila had gained some weight, but not enough to be concerned. Her belly seemed pudgier than usual. When I checked the kitchen, I found her 50-pound bag of food untouched, replaced by a 25-pound bag of organic steak and chicken with a $79.99 price tag still attached. My boyfriend had purchased it using the money I left for emergencies. We have porcupines in our yard, so I assumed it was an emergency vet scenario, but it wasn't. Lila needs better food. During my absence, my boyfriend's mother stopped by, which isn't uncommon. She told him that the food I had been giving Lila was terrible and convinced them to switch to this pricey brand. Additionally, she started feeding Lila genuine cut-up meat like steak or chicken bits in her bowl. Since I've been home, Lila has refused to eat the food she's eaten her entire life. She has even begun to get up on the table. This situation is concerning because Lila's diet has been abruptly changed without my consent, and she's now rejecting her regular food. It's essential to gradually transition her back to her original diet to ensure she receives the proper nutrition she needs. I also need to discuss this issue with my boyfriend and his mother to establish boundaries regarding Lila's care and diet to prevent further disruptions. When I catch myself trying to get people food again, a habit I broke over a year and a half ago, to say I'm outraged would be an understatement. Given my financial situation, affording the $140 bag I purchased for her is out of reach. I was already upset after facing a budget cut and a 99.8% increase in property taxes. To make matters worse, my boyfriend's mom showed up and quickly rummaged through her pocketbook, grabbing steak chunks for my dog. I've always been clear that there should be no table scraps, and this dog show was the icing on the cake. I lost it. Now I feel like I'm completely losing it and have been labeled as mad, if not an imbecile. As someone who has a dog with severe food allergies, I understand the outrage. I spend hundreds of dollars on allergy medicines and am cautious about what my dog eats. If someone were to decide it wasn't good enough and modify it without my consent, I'd be furious. Furthermore, allowing a dog to get away with something you say no to only encourages them to test the boundaries again. It undoes the training that took time and effort to develop, which is completely unacceptable. If you become pregnant, your mother-in-law will undoubtedly overstep boundaries with your child, much like she did with your dog. She appears to be highly dominating and insists on getting her way. She didn't even consider whether the dog enjoyed the food. She believed it was terrible, so she decided the healthy dog needed something better, even if he was perfectly content with his existing meal. Wait until you have children with your mother-in-law. She's a unique person. This is a prospective grandmother who doesn't care what mom wants for the kids and a father who will do anything his mother wants him to do. As for myself, I'm a 34-year-old guy with a tween daughter named Amaya. She is a beautiful child. I met Amaya's mother and tried to get to know her, as her father was not present and did not want to be involved. On the day of our wedding, I officially adopted her and shocked her by informing her that I was now her father, and she was my daughter. Amaya is generally a very busy child, but with the current worldwide issue and now summer break, I've noticed that she will sit on the couch all day, watching TV and playing computer games as a result. Amidst the narrative, let's dive back into the story. I've noticed Amaya gaining significant weight. If you're enjoying the story so far, please show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. I discussed my concerns with my wife, but she reassured me that Amaya is fine, especially since it's summer and she can relax with TV and junk food. While I understand her perspective, I don't want Amaya to develop unhealthy habits. To encourage some activity, I initiated father-daughter strolls. During our walks, we spent 30 minutes chatting about our day and PCOS. I gradually increased my pace from walking to jogging and eventually running. At first, Amaya struggled, but now she can keep up with me. I enjoy these moments because she gets a bit of exercise every day, and I cherish the time spent together. Unfortunately, my wife is not pleased. She approached me, accusing me of fat-shaming our daughter and forcing her to exercise. In her view, children are meant to watch television and eat junk food. She encourages Amaya to binge-watch TV, buys her favorite snacks, and tells her she doesn't need to join me for a run. She accuses me of imposing my lifestyle choices on our daughter, which leaves me feeling embarrassed after a few arguments. Certainly. Here's a revised version of your passage. She is considering sending Amaya to stay with her grandparents for the rest of the summer. I'm encouraging her to become more active. Am I the idiot? Not the imbecile. How come you're going for a run and forcing her to adopt healthy habits when her mother is buying her junk food? You did not fat shame her. Instead, you peacored an activity for the two of you to undertake together. And unless you omitted essential details, she enjoys it. So unless she has to be coerced into running with you and despises it, you are not wrong. The best thing you can do for your child is encourage them to live a healthy, active lifestyle. Your wife sucks here. Purposefully loading the house with junk food is a terrible thing to do to a youngster. The child should have access to a variety of nutritious foods. You suck too for making this about weight loss and appearance rather than simply telling your kid to develop healthy behaviors. Making her run seems excessive, especially if she dislikes it. Here's a revised version of your passage with improved clarity and structure. Walking and talking about the day is a better approach for your daughter to understand that exercise isn't about punishing herself for the food she eats. So, I vote that everyone is an idiot here. Encouraging a child to eat junk food and binge-watch TV is a form of neglect. Of course, consuming junk food and watching television can be typical childhood activities, but this is not behavior that should be promoted. Physical activity and movement are vital components of a healthy kid. Unfortunately, your wife is setting your daughter up for lifelong health concerns. Update: am I an idiot for attempting to assist my daughter in losing weight? First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone for their support. I hope you all went for that walk. Regardless, we sent Amaya to her grandparents for 2 weeks. During that period, my wife and I were able to discuss our feelings openly. My wife informed me that as a child, she was overweight. She was nearly morbidly obese by the time she was a teenager, and her parents were furious about it. They pushed her to diet, kept her out of the house to compel her to exercise, instructed her PE teacher to have her do additional laps, and even locked away food so she couldn't consume it. She avoided discussing it, and I had no idea this had happened to her. She was in tears expressing concern that I might do the same to Amaya. I know my wife is overweight, but it has never worried me. I married her because I adore her. She is a beautiful wife and mother, but like all of us, she allowed her fears to get the best of her. That's why she freaked out when I started taking Amaya running with me. Anyway, following our discussion, we agreed that we could do it all as a family. I purchased bikes for us, downloaded family fitness DVDs, scheduled family lunchtimes, and went grocery shopping together. Now she joins us on our runs. Don't worry, Amaya and I will drop the pace to a jog so she can keep up. I wish she had revealed this sooner, but at the very least, it's now public knowledge. Many people praised my actions with Amaya, describing me as the ideal father. I am not flawless. I understand what it's like not to have a father. When I was 2, my father decided that he no longer wanted to be a father. He packed and left in the middle of the night, leaving only me and Mom. We have yet to hear from him again. He didn't call, write, or send child support. I have no idea where he is now, and I don't want to know. My mother worked 2 jobs to support us. We relocated 6 times, and it wasn't easy. I had several guys in my life who served as role models, but I did not have a father. I promised myself that if I ever became a father, it would be the father I wished I had. I recognize a lot of myself in Amaya. That's why I want her to know that I adore her unconditionally. That's why I adopted her. That's why I refer to her as my daughter rather than a stepdaughter. Here's a revised version of your passage. Amaya is my little child, and I want her to always feel loved and know that she can talk to me about anything. These days, children are already facing difficulties, and I want her to understand that if things get complicated, we can go for a walk and talk about it. I assumed this had to do with your wife's past. Her parents were nasty to her, and I believe that showing kindness and understanding would be beneficial for her. You keep doing what you do, it makes you an excellent father and husband. Great update. I understood your wife's reaction. Growing up, my mother wasn't as awful as your wife's parents, but my weight was discussed virtually every day. I was repeatedly encouraged to ride my bike and get out of the house as if there was something wrong with me. As I grew older, it was always the first thing my mother mentioned. Either I looked like I'd lost some weight or I needed to be cautious because I had gained. I just reminded myself to be sensitive and never come across in that manner. Your goals are terrific, and you're going about it wonderfully and kindly. Just be sure to always choose family time over workouts. You're wonderful, thank you for being a good father. I am a 44-year-old female who has endured emotional and psychological abuse at the hands of a narcissistic father and had no protection from a weak, dependent mother. Hearing from dads like you makes me grieve for my inner child, the younger me. I was reflecting on how my parents' actions influenced my life. Dads are crucial to young girls and boys, and it appears that you are the type of father that many women do not have. Keep doing what you're doing as a father and spouse, you're doing fantastic. I'm a 42-year-old man engaged to a 33-year-old woman who is the right one. We've been dating for a little over 3 years, and I proposed last month. Last night, after another round of wedding preparations, my fiancé asked if I was okay with her becoming a stay-at-home wife. At first, I chuckled because I assumed she was joking, but she was serious. Finally, she implored me not to laugh and expressed her desire to be a stay-at-home wife. I asked her why, as we both make good money at our jobs, but we cannot afford our existing lifestyle on one income. She says it's because I earn a lot more, which is correct. I make almost 40% more than she does, so that we could cut back on our expenses. She's been on my mind a lot lately, and working 9 to 5 isn't for me. I asked if she was serious, and she affirmed that she was. I expressed my discomfort with the concept and suggested that if we have children, she could be a stay-at-home mom, but I'm not interested in her being a stay-at-home wife. She accused me of being manipulative because we don't have children, but I just mentioned it as a hypothetical because I'm not comfortable being the primary breadwinner. That escalated into a furious confrontation, with her claiming that I should support her dreams, even when I asked. She never specified what she intended to accomplish with her time at home, and this is where I might have been insensitive. In the heat of the moment, I asked, "Where is this coming from? Why is it your dream to be a stay-at-home wife? Is it your dream to be lazy?" She became enraged and went to her mother's house, saying, "We'll talk more when you calm down." Let me be honest, I don't want her to be a stay-at-home wife. I'm not comfortable with being the sole breadwinner, and I don't want to support this fantasy. I want a life companion, not a dependent who spends their days doing nothing productive. Am I the idiot? Being a stay-at-home mom is a job, presuming the mother does the childcare and does not delegate all of the labor to a staff of nannies and housekeepers. Being a stay-at-home wife with no PCORS for childcare is not comparable. If you both agree on something, that's one thing, but you've stated that you're searching for a partner, not a sugar baby. Not the imbecile, what you said may have been a little unkind. Just because she'll be home doesn't imply she wants to be lazy, however. I believe you were pretty close off base. You asked her what she would do in her spare time, and she did not seem to have an answer for you. She claims that's her dream, but she doesn't say what it is. Without defined goals for what she wants to do, your fears are more valid. You do not want to be the exclusive source of money, and that is entirely reasonable. It might be tough to support a family on your own, lol, encourage her dreams. If my spouse wanted to go back to college, would help him. If he wanted to establish his own business in an area that he was passionate about, I would assist him. If he had a fantasy of sitting on his buttocks and playing video games while being a stay-at-home husband, he would soon back my dream of divorce. Your values appear to be significantly different from those of your fiancé. You're not an idiot. She is being manipulative, bordering on gaslighting, by alleging that you were manipulative for not fully supporting her aspirations. What kind of partner does that? She was not born a trust fund baby or a member of the Corrided gentry, so I'm not sure where the assumption that she'll find someone to support her comes from. Was her mother a housewife or a working mother? Oh, and don't forget, she's gone to her mother's. I'm concerned she's not the right person for me, and our relationship may end. Thanks for watching. How did you find the story? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more awesome stories like this. Your feedback and support mean a lot.